Two things people stressed over the most, if we had to guess, love and money.
Yeah.
Right? And when the two come together, it can make or break a relationship.
That's right. So many people feel uncomfortable talking about finances with a partner, but like hydration and rest, it's necessary for a healthy life and relationship. That's really good. That's random. I respect it. And we have someone with us that can help a little bit.
That's right. Jason Tardick knows a thing or two about love after he stole hearts on season 14 of The Bachelorette. And when it comes to money, he's all business. He's a financial expert, best-selling author, and host of the Trading Secrets podcast. He's here to help us out. Welcome to New York Living.
It's good to be here.
I mean, listen, hydration and rest, we need it to survive.
It's perfect.
Love and finances. You don't love it, but if you're going to be in a relationship, you need it to survive.
You need it to survive. And I think love builds relationships, but financial transparency protects it. But it's a tough thing. And you think about the impact money has on everything, what we do, how we spend, our freedoms, our lives. And it's a tough thing to talk about, especially because we weren't taught anything about it in the school system.
I know. Right. That's something I always complain about is we need to stop doing like calculus and start doing like how to like balance a checkbook.
My son, who's a junior in high school, they just started a class called Personal Finance.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
that's great.
I love English, but you are not going to take English, and you are going to take
You have plenty of time to read books.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Transparency, you talked about transparency. How early on, or like what level of the relationship should you be like, okay, I have no money? Do you?
I have zero. Well, I think, first of all, what's great right there is we just laughed about money.
Right.
And I think what we need to do is think about like money can build connection, and we need not to go into money conversations with judgment. 50% of married and cohabitating relationships won't talk about money. Of the 50 that will, 3/4 say it creates material tension in the relationship.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we talk about how money matters. Of those 3/4, over half of them say that money arguments lead to decreased intimacy.
Oh.
So every aspect from intimacy to what we're doing to how we're doing it is impacting these money discussions. But then your question is, when do we start talking about
Right.
it? You don't go on your first date like, hey, how much you make, what's your net worth?
Right.
But we could have fun conversations. Like I'll ask you, Ben, what is one thing you spend too much on? You know you overspend on it, but you're not going to change.
Intimacy.
Okay. There you go.
Hair gel.
Hair gel. Hair
Yes.
gel's a good one, right? But we laugh. They get to hear about your spending habits or what you do. Or like, if you win $1 million right now and you got to spend it in an hour, where are you going to spend it?
Yeah.
Because you hear how you prioritize your spending.
Yeah, I like that
and
strategy.
it's a fun way to talk about it.
Is that a question you would ask early on in a relationship? Like, because I can't imagine a third date. If you had $1 million, Marty, what would you spend it on? But that's a pretty cool question to ask. So what is that a type of question that leads you to financial success with your partner?
I think it's all about disarming the conversation because we haven't made it safe. And then once you have some safety in it, the meaningful conversations before you're married or cohabitating, you have to talk about credit.
Yeah.
Credit impacts where you've been and the cost of your capital moving forward. You have to talk about debt to income. So everyone talks about how much money they make and how big. It doesn't. How much are you actually taking of your monthly income and paying it towards your debt? That gives you a full financial picture. And another one, the biggest one, is net worth. We go to our doctors every single year. We get our blood work. We get our scans. We get a full picture. Net worth will tell you everything, what moves in, what moves out. And unless you have a big expense coming up, like a house or a car or a wedding, your net worth, it should move up biannually. So 2 times a year, do a check-in with your partner and have these conversations.
Also, joint account, like having a joint account. Like my wife and I, when we were dating, when we started living together, started a joint account. But we always had separate accounts of our own.
Yeah.
Did you recommend that as a good strategy to kind of be like, we have our money for our bills, but then we have our other things for all our secret choice.
Your secret choice. Your intimacy spending.
Secret stuff.
I think the biggest thing is like anybody who gives cookie cutter solutions in this space is giving you the wrong solution.
Right.
Your situation's different than mine, which is different than yours. Your dynamics with your partner are different. What I recommend is the most successful is having individual accounts, having a joint account. I call it the teeter-totter approach. Based on how much you make, you guys decide how much you're going to put in that joint account, and you put in pro rata based on how much you make. So if I make 2 times more than my significant other, if we decide we're going to put in $3,000 a month, I'm going to put in 2 times more than her, and vice versa. So every solution, every couple needs an approach. The biggest thing is money cannot be weaponized. It cannot be used as a means of control. It cannot be used as you see so many toxic relationships because it's leveraging in a way that's just unfathomable.
Right.
And I think everybody, when you're in a marriage, right, that's a contract, that's a business relationship, and people bring tangible value, like bringing money in the door, and people bring intangible value that sometimes could outpace what money means. But having the conversations to understand this stuff is just so important.
I also think, specifically with I'm divorced, I'm remarried, and in
Yeah.
my first marriage, we never talked about money. And I was so insecure about it because it was the first time I was actually making money. And now I'm in a place where I'm on equal par with my husband. He never wants to talk about money. It's a very emotional thing. I'm like, do we need to bring in a third party to sort of like, and it's because I think it's so hard for folks to take the emotion, especially when this is the person you love and you're, you know, you're building a life with them. How do you work with couples when you quite literally have to remove the emotion from something to look at it objectively?
Right. It's a couples therapy as well.
I mean, the beautiful, the thing, it is like couples therapy. The beautiful thing is like numbers don't lie, which I like, right? People take things out of context all the time. Numbers don't lie. But the big thing is the emotion usually is tied to your relationship with money from day one, what you learned from your parents. So I think like consumption doesn't build connection, but some of these vulnerabilities of like, hey, why is this making you emotional is actually going to create connection. It eliminates the gray area. And one of the other big statistics in a book I wrote called Talk Money to Me, married and cohabitating relationships, what percentage do you think commit, which is called financial infidelity, is materially cheating through their finances? What percentage of married couples do you think materially are cheating or stealing in their finances?
90.
10.
Well, that's going to have to be. It's 43%, right? So almost every other couple, there's one person cheating or stealing through their finances. So eliminate the gray area so that there's full transparency to where money is, where it's going, why, and you're putting both of yourselves in a better position for happiness in the future, the freedom.
You 40 yet?
Is that what?
Are you 40 years old yet?
37.
37. Oh,
37.
We'll ask you in 3 years.
3 years, we'll come back to the question of the day.
Oh, I saw that segment. Everything's good there. But I'll come back.
Say that now. This was really, really eye-opening. Please come back.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Really, truly. Pick up a copy of Jason's book, Talk Money to Me, wherever books are sold, and listen to his podcast, Trading Spaces.
Yeah,
This is fantastic.
go check it out.